Today is a magnificent day to delve into the labyrinthine power struggles, the bitter rivalries, and the shocking betrayals that define the elite fashion dynasties of Los Angeles. Grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let us unpack the explosive drama about to unfold. The atmosphere at Forrester Creations has been thick with an unspoken tension, a suffocating cloud of suspicion that has been slowly gathering over the executive offices. Steffy Forrester Finnegan, a woman whose instincts have been honed by years of navigating corporate warfare and familial betrayals, has been harboring a growing, undeniable doubt regarding Hope Logan Spencer. The narrative that Hope has been carefully peddling a sudden, desperate need for a leave of absence to focus on her family and personal well-being has never sat right with the Forrester co-CEO. Steffy knows Hope better than almost anyone else in this city. She knows the fiery passion that Hope possesses for her hope for the future line, a passion that borders on obsession. The idea that Hope would simply walk away, leaving her life's work suspended in a state of indefinite purgatory, contradicts every established facet of her character. Steffy's analytical mind has been working overtime, dissecting every hesitation in Hope's voice, every averted gaze, and every overly rehearsed excuse. The pieces of the puzzle simply do not fit together, and Steffy is not a woman who can tolerate a mystery, especially one that threatens the stability of her family's empire. In a masterful display of psychological manipulation, Steffy decides to change her tactical approach. During their latest tense encounter, Steffy deliberately softens her demeanor. She nods sympathetically, offering a tight, practiced smile that conveys a false sense of understanding. She tells Hope that she respects her decision, that family must come first, and that Forrester Creations will be waiting for her when she is ready to return. It is a brilliant performance, a calculated retreat designed to lower Hope's defenses. Steffy turns on her signature designer heels and gracefully exits the room, leaving behind an illusion of peace. However, the moment the heavy mahogany door clicks shut behind her, the sympathetic facade evaporates, replaced by a look of sheer, unadulterated determination. Steffy has no intention of letting this go. She knows that the only way to uncover the truth is to catch Hope in the act of her deception. Instead of returning to her own office to review the upcoming haute couture schedules, Steffy slips out of the Forrester building through a private executive exit. She slides into the driver's seat of her sleek, tinted luxury vehicle, the powerful engine purring to life as she positions herself perfectly to monitor the main parking garage. She does not have to wait long. Within minutes, Hope emerges, her steps hurried, her posture rigid with a nervous energy that completely betrays her supposed need for a relaxing leave of absence. As Hope's car pulls out onto the sun-drenched streets of Los Angeles, Steffy seamlessly merges into the traffic behind her, maintaining a careful, undetectable distance. The cat-and-mouse game has officially begun, and Steffy's grip on the steering wheel tightens as she anticipates the destination. The drive through the bustling city streets is a journey of escalating realization for Steffy. She watches as Hope bypasses the routes that would lead to her home, bypassing the quiet residential neighborhoods, and instead heading straight toward the towering, glass-in steel monoliths of the corporate district. When Hope's vehicle finally slows and turns into the exclusive underground parking structure of the Spencer Tower, a cold, hard knot forms in Steffy's stomach. The Spencer Tower is the fortress of Bill Spencer and the current operational headquarters of Katie Logan's rapidly expanding fashion house. It is the absolute last place a Forrester employee on a leave of absence should be visiting, especially on the eve of a highly publicized, mysteriously accelerated fashion showdown. The pieces of the puzzle suddenly snap into a horrifyingly clear picture. Steffy parks her car a safe distance away, her mind racing with the catastrophic implications of what she is about to uncover. She bypasses the main reception, utilizing her extensive knowledge of the city's corporate layouts and a healthy dose of sheer, intimidating authority to navigate the building's security without raising an alarm. High above the city, insulated within the luxurious confines of Katie Logan's executive office, A completely different scene is unfolding. The room is a whirlwind of frantic, exhilarating creative energy. Hope, Logan Spencer, and Deke Sharp are huddled over a massive, polished glass desk, completely engrossed in their work. The pressure of the impending ASAP Logan fashion launch designs specifically to blindside Forrester creations and eclipse Eric Forrester's highly anticipated return to haute couture's an immense weight on their shoulders. Yet, amidst the crushing anxiety of the impossible deadline, there is a palpable synergy between the two designers. They are finalizing the last, crucial details of the collection, their voices overlapping as they debate fabric choices, hemlines, and the precise draping of the garments. The desk is absolutely covered in a chaotic sea of sketch paper, fabric swatches, and color palettes. For Hope, this secret sanctuary represents a terrifying but liberating rebellion. She is pouring every ounce of her stifled creativity into these designs, channeling the frustration of having her hope for the future line shelved by Steffy into a bold, unapologetic new vision for Logan. The atmosphere in Katie's office is thick with the adrenaline of impending victory, completely oblivious to the storm that is rapidly approaching their door. Hope is in the middle of passionately explaining a complex bodice adjustment to Deke, her finger tracing the elegant lines of the graphite sketch, when the sanctuary is violently, irrevocably shattered. There is no polite knock, no warning from a receptionist. There is only the sudden, explosive sound of the heavy office door being kicked open with a force that sends it crashing against the adjacent wall. The sound reverberates through the room like a gunshot, instantly freezing the creative fervor. Hope and Deke jolt upright, their eyes wide with a mixture of shock and dawning horror as they look toward the threshold. Standing in the doorway, framed like an avenging angel of corporate wrath, is Steffy Forrester Finnegan. Her posture is rigid, her chest heaving slightly from the adrenaline of her pursuit, and her dark eyes are blazing with an intensity that seems to lower the temperature in the room by 10 degrees. The silence that follows the crash of the door is deafening, heavy with the weight of 1,000 unspoken accusations. Steffy does not immediately speak. Instead, she steps slowly into the room, her sharp gaze sweeping over the chaotic scene before her. She takes in the sight of Deke Sharp, the designer she had unceremoniously fired from Forrester, now standing side by side with Hope. But it is not Dek's presence that truly ignites the inferno within Steffy. It is the visual evidence scattered across the desk. With deliberate, predatory steps, Steffy approaches the glass table. Hope instinctively tries to subtly pull a few of the sketches toward her, a futile attempt to hide the undeniable truth. But Steffy is faster. She reaches out and snatches one of the primary design portfolios from the center of the desk. As Steffy holds the sketch up to the light, her eyes rapidly skim the artwork. The lines, the silhouette, the youthful, optimistic energy radiating from the garment, it is unmistakably the creative DNA of Hope for the future. It is the precise aesthetic that Forrester Creations has poured millions of dollars into cultivating and marketing over the years. But then, Steffy's eyes drift to the bottom right corner of the page, where a crisp, newly minted logo has been proudly stamped. It is not the elegant, sweeping F of Forrester Creations. It is the bold, aggressive emblem of Logan. A bitter, venomous sneer twists Steffy's features as she stares at the logo. The sheer audacity of the theft, the blatant disrespect for the family that has housed and funded Hope's dreams, washes over Steffy in a tidal wave of righteous fury. She drops the sketch back onto the desk as if it were infected, the paper fluttering down to rest among the other stolen concepts. When Steffy finally speaks, her voice is not a scream, but a low, dangerous whisper that cuts through the silence with the precision of a scalpel. She looks directly into Hope's terrified eyes and delivers a verbal execution. She declares, with absolute, unwavering conviction, that she is looking at the most blatant, disgusting betrayal in the entire history of the fashion industry. Steffy's words are laced with years of accumulated resentment and rivalry. She reminds Hope of the resources, the platform, and the global prestige that Forrester Creations has provided her, only for Hope to turn around and weaponize her own brand against them. She mocks the pathetic, cowardly leave of absence, sneering at how easily Hope abandoned her loyalty for a quick, underhanded deal with Katie and Bill Spencer. Steffy paints a vivid, humiliating picture of Hope sneaking around like a common corporate spy, stealing the intellectual property that rightfully belongs under the Forrester umbrella and slapping a rival's name on it to score cheap points in a family feud. The confrontation is a masterclass in psychological demolition, and Hope can do nothing but stand there, her face drained of all color, absorbing the devastating impact of Steffy's righteous anger. But Steffy Forrester Finnegan is not a woman who is satisfied with merely winning an argument. She is a CEO who protects her empire with lethal force. Her anger does not stop at biting words and bitter sneers. As Hope tries to stammer out a defense, to desperately explain her stifled creativity and her need for an outlet, Steffy holds up a single, manicured hand, silencing her instantly. The emotional confrontation seamlessly transitions into a cold, calculated legal execution. Steffy's eyes narrow into dangerous slits as she outlines the catastrophic consequences of what Hope has just done. She informs Hope, with chilling clarity, that this little secret project is over before it even begins. Steffy details the exact nature of the non-compete clauses and intellectual property agreements buried deep within Hope's Forrester Creations contract. She threatens to unleash the full, terrifying might of the Forrester legal team by the end of the hour. She promises a massive, unprecedented lawsuit for breach of contract, corporate espionage, and the theft of proprietary designs. But the lawsuit is only the long-term punishment. Steffy has an immediate, lethal weapon in her arsenal. She looks Hope dead in the eye and promises to file an emergency, ironclad legal injunction before the sun sets. This injunction will immediately freeze the entire Logan collection. Not a single garment will be allowed to leave the Spencer Tower. Not a single model will walk down the runway tomorrow. The entire, highly publicized ASAP launch that Katie and Bill have orchestrated will be violently derailed, reduced to a humiliating, catastrophic public relations nightmare. The sheer magnitude of the threat hits Hope like a physical blow. The reality of this situation crashed down upon her with suffocating force. She had been so blinded by her desire to create, so insulated by Katie and Bill's promises of protection, that she had fundamentally underestimated the ruthlessness of Steffy Forrester protecting her family's legacy. Steffy is promising to push Hope into a corner where she is left with absolutely nothing. If the injunction holds, the Logan launch is dead, Katie's investment is ruined, and Hope will be permanently blacklisted, drowning in millions of dollars of legal liabilities. She will be left entirely empty-handed, stripped of her designs, her reputation, and her future, right on the very precipice of what was supposed to be her greatest triumph. Deke's sharp attempts to step forward, his protective instincts flaring as he tries to shield Hope from Steffy's relentless assault, but Steffy cuts him down with a single, dismissive glare. She reminds Deke that he is merely a pawn in this game, a fired employee who is now complicit in corporate theft, and that the Forrester legal team will gladly drag him down into the financial ruin alongside Hope. The power dynamic in the room has completely shifted. The creative sanctuary has been transformed into a legal slaughterhouse, and Steffy is holding the only weapon. She turns her back on the devastated pair, her posture radiating absolute authority and unyielding power. As she walks back toward the shattered door, Steffy pauses, throwing one final, devastating look over her shoulder. She tells Hope to enjoy her last few hours of playing designer, because by tomorrow morning, the only thing she will be designing is her own legal defense. The door slams shut behind her, leaving Hope and Deke trapped in a suffocating silence, the impending doom of Steffy's legal warfare hanging over them like a guillotine.